Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Escapement Time Vintage Chronograph, model number H0293. So I purchased this watch and one other Escapement Time with slight discounts from the official Escapement Time store on AliExpress. That'll be linked down below. Even though I got a slight discount, you know by now, that's not going to sway my review one way or the other. The full retail price for this watch is about $126 US, and these typically do not go on any sales, so there's no good or bad time to buy it. So if you like it, I think you should just go and buy it right now. There's no sense in really waiting for a sale to come. The watch is offered in two different colorways, as you can see right here. I think they both look really good, but I really like this white one. I think it looks awesome. The watch case is made from 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal, a push-pull crown, a screw-down case back, 50 meters of claimed water resistance. It's only available on this leather strap, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and is powered by the Seiko VK64 Mecha Quartz movement. So Escapement Time is back in business. Hopefully the COVID lockdowns stay away and he can keep producing watches because, man, he does a great job at that. I have loved pretty much every watch that he's put out. I think he does a great job, and yeah, this watch is proof of that. So before we get into the full review, let's do a quick wrist check. I'm wearing the Baltony 1926. This one will be coming up in a review very soon, so keep an eye out for that. All right, let's get to the dimensions. I got a diameter of 38.1, a thickness of about 12.3, and that includes the crystal. Got a 20 millimeter lug width. The strap tapers down to 18. Got a lug tip to lug tip of 46.2, and on the supplied leather strap, it weighs about 55 grams. So, I mean, it's just a perfect size in my opinion. At 38 millimeters is great. Under 47 lug tip to lug tip, 12 and 12.2, I think is what it said, but that does include this nicely domed crystal, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. I think the case shape is very unique, and I think it wears great. Maybe just a little bit flat, even though there's this weird kind of, not weird, but unique turn down to the lug tips there. It is still a pretty flat case. So yeah, but it does wear really, really good, and I think it's going to wear really good on a lot of wrists. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on mine. And here we are on a dark blue vintage leather strap. I think that looks pretty good. Really brings out the blue of the hands, and yeah, I think it looks good. What do you guys think? Sorry about all the noise. And yeah, it's Florida. This is what we deal with all the time. And here we are on same strap, just different colors. This is a tan one. Again, these will be linked down below. I think that actually looks really good. I'm kind of surprised by this one. I wasn't sure how I would like it, but that actually looks really good. What do you guys think? All right, let's go inside, throw it on some more straps. And here we are on a Milanese mesh. I think that actually looks pretty good as well. This thing's turning out to be a strap monster. This one's lifted off my Seagull, so no link for that one, but yeah, any old strap should do on Ali. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Very shiny, but still looks really good. What do you guys think? And here we are on a black Perlon strap. I think that looks pretty good as well. Yeah, one layer underneath the watch, it still sits pretty good. What do you guys think? It's a pretty casual look for it. And here we are on a blue nylon strap, 2 layers underneath the watch there. Still think it looks pretty good. I got no complaints with that. Very comfortable, very casual look for this watch. Again, kind of matches the blue of the hands there, brings them out a little bit. I think it looks good. Probably not my favorite one, but yeah, definitely something that I could rock if I really wanted to. This one will probably live on that blue leather though. I think that looks excellent. What do you guys think? All right, let's go back inside. We'll get back to this review. So the case is a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces, and I mean, it's done really nicely. I've got no issues with it. I don't see any kind of weird, I mean, even getting up close, you can see here, it's nice and smooth on the polishing. I mean, usually you, at this price point, you don't see polishing this nice, so very happy with the polishing on this case. It's really nicely done, very nicely done. Flipping it over to the crown side here, you can see you have an unsigned crown. The pushers are really nicely detailed, as you can see right there. I mean, those are really nice, very nice looking. Otherwise, they're just polished on the outer edge. But nice big crown here. I'm a little sad that this is just a quartz movement, so you're only going to be messing with this like once a year because it's a nice size crown. It's a nice crown. I like it a lot. But yeah, the brushing and the polishing is done to a very nice standard, in my opinion. You can see right here, you got a nice sharp transition from the brush to the polish. The brushing is done pretty good. It's not perfect, but it is really nicely done. On this side, you don't really notice the imperfection. I'll show it to you in just a second. You do have drilled lugs, which is nice. But yeah, so flipping it over, and you can maybe see here, kind of right in this area here, the outermost part of the case, you can kind of see these little vertical lines there. So that's just kind of the tool skipping along. And it's just not a perfectly smooth surface that they started brushing. So you do see these little tiny imperfections in the brushing, but it is so minuscule. It's, I mean, I'm not even going to take a point away for it. So yeah, it's just something I noticed kind of right away. But you know, on wrist, you're never going to notice it. Under, you know, normal lighting conditions, you really don't notice it. So it's just something I wanted to point out. But otherwise, I think it's done really, really nicely. I've got no issues with it at all. I'm very happy with the case finishing on this thing. Really nicely done. I like it a lot. I like the step to the bezel. Hopefully you can kind of see it here. So you kind of have this initial step, and then you have another step up to the actual crystal. And I think it looks really good. It's almost like a 3-step process on this bezel up to the crystal. It just looks really cool. I like it a lot. So flipping it over to the case back here, and you can see it's almost kind of like like an Omega style case back. It's unusual. It's a decagon, so 10-sided polygon, with a circular brushing in the middle, polished on the outside. Nicely done. I've got no issues with it. It's a screw down case back. The bottom of the lugs are polished and still nicely polished, even at, you know, underneath the case where you never see it. Yeah, I'm just overall very pleased with the case finishing on this thing. It's not perfect, but it's damn near close. Now let's test this for sapphire. You can see right there, it is positive for sapphire. So that's pretty impressive. And I say that because not only the price, you know, $125, you know, this thing is like half the price of a Bambino. And, you know, they're still offering mineral crystal. So this is a sapphire crystal. It is beautifully domed and boxed domed. It is, you know, extreme angles. You don't get any distortion. You get plenty of distortion on the edges. And I mean, it's a gorgeous crystal. I don't see any mention of anti-reflective coating on the listings anywhere, but I think it's there. I mean, a crystal like this, it's bound to be very reflective, and this one's not at all. I was very impressed with this crystal. I mean, this is an excellent crystal. Very, very happy with it. I don't think they could have done it any better. Yeah, let's talk about the dial on this thing. So the dial is, again, really nicely done from Escapement Time. It's a glossy white dial. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I'm going to point out the one flaw that I saw with it. I'm not sure if you guys can see it here. If not, I will post up a short little video here kind of explaining it. But basically, you can kind of see it right at the 6 indice here. Right about there, you can kind of see where the dial actually distorts a little bit. It's an unusual thing. You only see it in certain lighting, but it's around pretty much every indice. But yeah, that's just the only issue I saw with it. And that's kind of the nature with glossy dials. They really show that kind of weird distortion a lot. There you can really see it good right there on that 6 o'clock indice. Right there. So that's it. That's the only issue I see with the dial on this thing. Otherwise, it's done really, really nicely. You have applied Roman numerals at 12 and 6. Single batons everywhere else. They're cut short for the subdials there. So around the outside, a little bit obscured by the crystal, is your tachymeter, or I see this base here, so that's also a pulsometer, I think. So, I mean, it's the same for both of them. The scale is the same for both of them. So you can use this as a pulsometer or a tachymeter. But yeah, really nicely done. Very happy with that. I'm just going to start the chronograph second here. But yeah, the numerals are printed nice and crisp. I see no issues with that. I see no issues with their placement as well. Some people have an issue with that 51. It doesn't bother me at all, in my opinion. But yeah, really nicely done. Got lots and lots of detail on the minute track. You have the minute numerals printed around the outside as well. The handset on this thing is really, really nice. Kind of a leaf style handset, nicely rounded, nicely finished. I mean, just really nice. I don't know what else to say. Just really nice and clean, even under macro. One thing I will point out here is, you can probably see it right here, the minute hand, it actually goes down a little bit right towards the tip. It's just slanted a little bit there. They do that just to make it a little bit more legible. It's not a flaw, so don't worry about that. But yeah, really nicely done, nicely sized in my opinion. They do get lost a little bit in kind of lower lighting conditions, but in normal lighting conditions, it's not really an issue because they're a rounded surface there, so you always have some sort of light reflecting off of them. Really nicely done. I kind of wish they would have done blue, but I know why they didn't. I think it looks fine as it is. But yeah, really happy with that. The two sub-dial layouts here. So you have a 24-hour dial at the 3 o'clock position, and then you have your chronograph minute counter at the 9 o'clock position with a blued hand. So the 24-hour dial just has a silver hand, and then you get the blued hand at the chronograph minute counter. I think that looks awesome. It doesn't really mess with my OCD as far as, being balanced. I don't miss the blue on this one. But yeah, I think it's done really nicely. I think the blued seconds hand is also done really nicely, nice and clean. And these are, really heat treated blued hands. They're not painted hands, and they look excellent. Just really nice and clean. The dial layout, I mean, it's busy, but it's clean all at the same time. The only wording you have on here is the escapement time in the script text, and then this little nod to its origin, China, right here at the kind of 430 position. But yeah, really nice dial, very clean, no lume on it whatsoever, so we don't have a lume shot. And yeah, I've got no issues with the dial on this thing. I think it looks great. Now let's talk about the movement in this thing. So the movement is the Seiko VK64 Mecha Quartz movement. It's a quartz movement. The main second hand here is for your chronograph. This is your chronograph minute counter. So you press the top pusher here, and that starts up your chronograph second. I believe it's 5 ticks per second, so it's a pretty decent sweep, and it looks good. Nice feedback to that top pusher there. Sometimes you get these things and they're just too squishy. This one feels great, and it even feels great with that extra added grip onto it. But yeah, really nice, solid movement. The only thing that I don't really like about this movement is that the minute hand, it gradually sweeps around. It doesn't snap across every minute. So that's my only real gripe with the movement, and that's a very minor one in my opinion. But really happy with these movements. They're super accurate. I think like 20 seconds per month, I believe, or maybe it's 20 seconds per year, something like that. 3-year battery life. They work great. They feel great. I've got no issues with it at all. Nice positive clicks, and it snaps back right away, dead center, just perfect alignment on this one. It's all operated through this 3 o'clock crown here. So this is a simple push-pull crown. You do have a ghost date position, so right here there is a ghost date position, but I don't think it's back there. I don't hear any clicking or anything like that. So he must have removed the mechanism for that. You pull it out to the third position here. It's not going to hack anything because there's no running second hand, but this is where you set your time, and it's fine. It's not like a super positive feeling, but it does work really well. And I mean, it doesn't jump the second hand or anything, the minute hand or anything like that. So really happy with these movements. I've had them in plenty of watches. They never give me a problem, and I love them. And let's talk about the strap on this thing. So the strap is actually pretty decent. You're probably not going to want to throw it away. I'm not a fan of the color. It's kind of this tan, like light tan, kind of a taupe color. I'm not a big fan of it, but it is a decent strap, and it's worth keeping if you like the color for sure. The strap tapers from 20 millimeters down to 18 millimeters. It's a good length too. I think I'm on this third hole here, so it can probably fit up to an 8-inch wrist and probably down to like a 6 1/4-inch wrist or so. But yeah, pretty nicely done strap in my opinion. It's got a really cool texture to it. The stitching is nice and clean. I don't see any issues with that. Flipping it over here, it's pretty decent on the underside as well. No quick release, which I would like to see, but again, it does have drilled lugs, so that's nice to see. But yeah, the stitching again on this side, nicely done. You've got one floating keeper, one stationary keeper. Nice clean stitching there. Polished buckle. I think the buckle looks good. No, it's not signed or anything like that. I've seen this buckle on plenty of other straps, and it's nothing special, but it's definitely a solid buckle. It doesn't flop around or anything like that, so that's nice to see. And again, I've got no major issues with the strap. I do wish they would include quick release, but it's not a huge deal. But I've definitely been wearing this on this kind of dark blue strap, and I think it looks really, really good on this one. This one, it's fine. It's nothing special, but it's fully serviceable in my opinion. You're not going to want to toss it in the bin right out of the box. It's fairly flexible. So yeah, it's a decent strap. It's not anything fancy or special or anything like that, but yeah, you might want to actually keep this one around. So there you go, guys. That is the Escapement Time vintage chronograph. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. You get a beautiful crystal on it, an awesome dial, really unique case in my opinion. I mean, it's just really, really cool. I've seen this case on a few other watches. I know St. Martin has one, which I will be reviewing pretty soon. I know Mysterious Code has one as well. I hate that name. Nice watch, but I hate that name. So this one, I mean, for 125 bucks US dollars, you know, that's not a bad price. I saw Wes's Watch Room say that it's a little overpriced. You know, in the UK where you're paying that extra, you know, 30 bucks or so, I think it might be just a little bit overpriced, but still, I think this is one of the better ones you can find on AliExpress. It is still really, really good. You got a good movement, beautiful finishing, a decent strap. You don't have to replace the strap right away. And yeah, I just think it looks good, and I still think it's worth the price. I think it's an excellent watch. So if you guys are interested in this, head down to the link in the description. That is an affiliate link. Thank you guys so much for using my affiliate links. I use those to purchase this watch. I use that to purchase the other Escapement Time. I use that to purchase my Romalti that I just reviewed. I mean, you know, you guys are helping keep this channel going by using my affiliate link. So a huge thank you goes out to anyone who has ever clicked on those. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I think that's about it though. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.